connection between language development and brain development, especially in the early years. We all know that the brain develops at an astonishing rate in the early years, but one of the single biggest predictor of future success is the opportunities for language development in the early years. And this is so crucial because language development opportunities actually create the brain architecture for future cognitive and social emotional learning. So this is so important as parents to know that how do we develop these skills in the early years. Now before we look at 6 ways to develop this, here's important to know that language and literacy are actually different. What do I mean by that? Language is the ability to understand symbols, body language, facial expressions, and unspoken words. And this is far more primitive to the human brain. Literacy, on the other hand, is the ability to read and write, which came much later in the evolution of the human brain. It's fairly a recent development. And therefore, while they're closely connected, language development actually forms the foundation on which a child's ability to learn language, reading and writing is actually developed. So it's very crucial that we develop language development skills. And here are 6 ways to do that. First is engaging in a lot of conversations, and research has proven that the single most effective way is to engage in a lot of back and forth conversations with children on a variety of topics so that they have more exposure to vocabulary, new words, and that's one of the best ways to develop language skills and understanding of nonverbal cues. Second, and you will be amazed to know this smart hack that most intentional parents will use, that is to use larger sentences. Because the more vocabulary and language the child hears, the better their understanding of the syntax and grammar of that language will be. So just use more descriptive larger sentences with loads of adjectives. Third, create a language-rich environment. Now, how do we do that? Use a huge range of vocabulary for children right from an early age. Label objects. Talk in a lot of descriptive and detailing. You can also play fun games like naming characters, giving nicknames, coming up with alternative titles for stories, listening to poems and rhymes of different styles that help develop children's language ability skills. Fourth, be responsive, expressive and patient. Especially when children are very young, whether they're just babbling or learning to form sentences or trying to go on stage to do their first presentations. Do not correct them too much. Rather, just be responsive and be expressive. One of the best ways for the brain to learn is also autocorrection. So when we reinforce what they're trying to say and rephrase and tell them the same thing, the brain automatically autocorrects and learns rather than correcting them, which can demotivate or demoralize them. So rather just be patient, be responsive and show a lot of expressions on your faces when you interact with them. Another important thing is to celebrate reading, which means that it starts by making a lot of books of different topics accessible and interesting for children. And one of the best ways to develop their interest is to read aloud to children and to read ourselves as parents. Because when children associate a sense of joy to see their parents and their surroundings filled with books and enjoying reading, children have a natural interest to listen, to uncover what is there in those books. And so you can read to them and also introduce them to a lot of books, and that would really help. And the sixth technique is asking them a lot of open-ended questions. What do we mean by that? Rather than asking just yes or no questions, where the opportunity to express is limited, ask them questions of, oh, what if? What do you think? How else could it have happened? How about doing it in another way? And children have more opportunities to express. In fact, they will develop their own choices and voices and independent thinking in the process and develop critical thinking along with language skills. So it's very important that we as parents use these 6 techniques to develop language skills from a very early age and help them unlock their brain potential in numerous ways. Hope you try that. If you found this useful, don't forget to subscribe and watch the other videos. Thank you.